1370. You're listening to Retirement Journey with Justin Fort, where it's all about the health, wealth, and freedom you need to live life your way, all the way. I'm Justin. I'm here in studio with my sidekick and executive assistant by day, Jennifer.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. You can call us live at 512-390-1370 or send us questions and comments to ask@fortwm.com. We've got a great show on health today. We're going to be talking about dieting. We're going to be talking about some statistics that I've got from the CDC, the state of aging and health in America. We're going to talk about that throughout the show today. We want to make sure that you have all of the tools necessary to lead a long, healthy life. And, you know, health is equivalent to wealth and all kinds of other things when it comes to retirement planning. We want to make sure that you enjoy your retirement, as all of us would love to do. And, you know, you're probably aware of all the weight loss hype, you know, the diets, the fads, the pills, the magic wands. You know, did you know that basically all of the dieting ideas are really 1960s thinking? The science of obesity and weight loss has progressed in leaps and bounds. And finally, someone is here to explain it to you. Dr. Sandeep Grewal, co-author of Fat Me Not, simplifies it all. You'll even learn secret switch built into all of our bodies that you can actually flip to help regulate your weight without having to rely on some kind of a magic wand or pill or fad that may be old 1960s thinking. So I'm excited to hear what Dr. Grewal has to tell us today. But, you know, first, I just wanted to talk a little bit about our exercise, right, Jennifer? I mean, we both try. That's the word there, right? Well, you know, when you're middle school age or high school age, I'm sure all of us can think back. You know, some of us ran track. Mm-hmm. I wrestled, and it was basketball.
I did.
Awesome. Might have to try you out on the court and see.
No, not anymore.
Okay. I just remember, you know, being in high school, really focused on weight training, focused on these things that would make me a better wrestler, make me a better football player. And, you know, that kind of set the stage for how I viewed myself, kind of my self-identity. And I know today, if I don't get to the gym, maybe, you know, 3 to 4 days a week at least, I feel like I'm failing myself and I'm not living up to who I am. And, you know, it's not a narcissistic type thing. It's just, you know, exercise makes me feel more like who I am, I guess, right? And, you know, you do kickboxing, Jennifer.
I do.
And how often do you do that?
I do that twice a week when I can, yes. That's pretty hard.
That's where all the black eyes are coming from? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh. No,
Jennifer doesn't have any black eyes, I promise.
No, they can't touch my face.
Okay. Right. So it's the kickboxing workout type stuff. So
yes.
And your daughter does karate?
She does. She does martial arts, yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked you before we got on what her belt was, and you said,
yeah, I don't remember. There's so many colors. She's actually in training or she'll be in the black belt boot camp pretty soon. So she's pretty excited about that.
Black belt. Wow. And she's what?
She's 10.
10.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Amazing. She, you know, so I won't mess with your daughter. No. She'll kick my. I'm just kidding.
Probably.
Well, it's important to exercise. It's important to be healthy. We know that. And it's great to encourage our children to do these types of things. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we can lead by example. Of course, I just had a couple that I met with just yesterday. They were telling me that one of their passions is Tai Chi. That's another interesting thing that you could do. You know, some people like the yoga. Some people like, you know, right now, today, coming to the station, it's a beautiful day here in Austin. And obviously, on days like this, during the week, on the weekends, we see lots of people bicycling, right?
Yes.
Good groups of people, and you get great exercise, especially out in the hill country areas. We see lots of folks on their bikes. So watch out for bicyclists and be courteous to them, and watch out for them. Anyways, let's talk a little bit, Jennifer, about our guest today.
Oh, yes. Dr. Sandeep Grewal is board certified by the American Board of Internal Medicine. He was awarded the Innovation in Healthcare Award by Charlotte Business Journal in 2012 and also named 40 Under 40 in 2013, the most influential young people in business. He has appeared in several television and radio shows. He has authored 3 books and is the co-inventor of the revolutionary step portion control weight loss method, the Slim plate system.
Sounds very interesting.
Yes.
Dr. Grewal, we're excited to have you on today. Welcome.
Well, thank you for having me on the show.
Good to have you. So your book has a great catchy name. I really like it, Fat Me Not.
Yes, it is a story that actually my wife, who's the author of the book, and I'm the co-author, she just woke up one morning and on a Saturday morning, and she said, "I know the name of the book. It's Fat Me Not." And I kind of like the
That's awesome.
catchiness of the name, so we decided to name it Fat Me Not.
I like it.
Yes.
And according to your book, I've learned that bacteria, we're going to get into a lot of the innuendos here and things that really are going to matter to our listeners. But one thing that's important to remember is that we've got bacteria in our gut, and without that bacteria, we can't really control our weight or cravings or have the energy that we need to be ourselves and do the things we want to do, like kickboxing and Tai Chi and yoga and ride bicycles and all of that. Mm-hmm. Can you explain a little bit more of that?
Yes, this is a very interesting science. Like you mentioned earlier in this show, that most of the diet in the market currently, what we do, like low-fat diet or low-carb diet, all these are based on research done in 1950s or 1960s. And since then, there has been a lot more advances in weight loss medicine, and one of them is the gut bacteria. So we always knew there are trillions and trillions of bacteria in our stomach, and we thought they are just sitting there and doing nothing. But as we delve deeper into research, these bacteria can affect our blood pressure, these bacteria can affect our stress levels, these bacteria can affect our depression, these bacteria can affect our behavior, including the eating behavior. So these bacteria live on the food that we eat, and to get the food that they want, they can actually hack into our nervous system and make our brain crave the kind of the food they would want to survive on. And that is the underlying concept behind these gut bacteria and how they hack our brain.
Wow. So we can maybe blame some of the bacteria in our belly for the donut we want. Or this is really interesting stuff.
No, that's true, because it's if you look at it, the bacteria, if we eat highly processed food, if we drink sugary drinks, if we eat a lot of sugar, we are getting these bad bacteria in our stomach, and these bad bacteria live on this kind of stuff. So they would hack our nervous system, make us crave sugary soda, processed food all the time, and that's how we get stuck in the cycle of keeping on gaining weight and keeping on craving bad food. On the other hand, if we eat good food, say we eat nuts, we eat high-protein diet, we eat high-fiber diet, we eat 5 times a day, and drink plenty of water, avoid sodas, what happens is we get the good bacteria, and then we start craving good kind of food.
Wow, and that's Dr. Sandeep Grewal, author of Fat Me Not. We're going to be talking more about a fresher and simpler approach to weight loss when we come back. Again, this is Justin. The show is Retirement Journey with Justin Fort, where it's all about the health, wealth, and freedom you need to live life your way all the way, and this is Talk 1370.
Who knows, maybe you were kidnapped, tied up, taken away, and held for ransom.
Talk 1370. You're listening to Retirement Journey with Justin Fort. You can call us live at 512-390-1370 or send us your questions and comments to ask@fortwm.com. If you've got questions for Dr. Grewal, author of Fat Me Not, feel free to send questions to us, and we'll make sure that he gets those and you get an answer. Dr. Grewal, before we went to break, we were just talking about the trillions of bacteria that we have in our gut, and how if we eat foods, some types of foods, we can end up with the quote-unquote bad bacteria, right? And those bad bacteria then want more of the same bad stuff that, I guess, put them there in the first place, as you were, and correct me if I'm wrong. And what you were saying, which was really interesting, I just want you to expound a little bit more on that before we went to break, that those bacteria can actually influence our cravings by somehow tapping into our brain. And how do they do that? I'm just completely, I've never heard that before. Very interesting.
Right. So research has shown that, the way our cravings are controlled is by a center in the brain, which is deep in the what we call as the hypothalamus of the brain. And these cravings depend on the signals that are coming from the stomach, and there are complicated names for it, but there are CCK, PYY, GLP-1, OXM. There are many different microhormones which go from the stomach to the brain through the bloodstream or through the vagus nerve, and that's where the brain decides what it wants to eat and what it wants to crave. And these bacteria can hack into this network, and they can change the signaling that comes from the stomach and change our craving in a good way or in a bad way.
Wow. And it's amazing. I've just never heard. That's really amazing.
Yes, and also these bacteria can alter our craving to get the food they want. But the good news is that if we are able to get good bacteria in our stomach, the dieting process becomes easier and easier. So if many times we feel, I can never give up sugary soda, but the good news is that once we stop the sugary soda or drink it very little, we will notice that after 3-4 months we don't want it anymore. And that's the reason is the bacteria that used to live on that sugary soda is gone, and it's not making us crave that anymore.
Oh, wow. So almost like kicking a habit, almost like you're addicted to something, right? You're addicted to the high sugar, or addicted to the donuts or whatever it is that you're addicted to, that it more than just a habit, because I think a lot of us think of habits like we're just going to do this thing every day, and after a while it's just going to get easier, and we think of it in the terms of it's just our mental state of mind. But really it sounds like what you're saying is it's also a physical addiction or physical state of mind. If we don't have that influence there, and that bacteria is just not in our gut, and we have the good bacteria influencing us to eat things like broccoli and I guess fruits and other things like that, vegetables, then it just becomes what we want. It's much easier. That's a great point.
Well, I think you brought up a great point. The thing is that many times when we fail in our diet, we start blaming ourselves that we don't have enough willpower to do this. But what is happening in our body is a lot of different things. Many times food can affect our behavior. For example, they did a research in a rat in which they gave the rat mixture of fat and sugar, which is basically cookies and cakes. And what they noticed was that when the rat ate a mixture of fat and sugar, it ate almost half of its daily calorie in the next 1 hour. So
wow.
Why this is important? Because the mixture of fat and sugar or cookies and cake has changed the rat's behavior, and it is making it eat more. So when we are doing everything right in a diet, we are doing everything good, we are watching our calories, we are eating the healthy foods, and then one day we have a party, and in that party when we go there, we see a big piece of cake. And we eat that cake thinking this is the only time I'm going to eat it, and then I'm going to go back on my diet. But it doesn't go that way. Once we eat that cake, next thing we know is that our diet is falling apart. We are not following what we used to follow. We are eating more, and we blame ourselves. But it is actually that mixture of fat and sugar which has changed our eating behavior. That big piece of cake that we ate in that party derailed our diet. So there's a lot more going on than just willpower, and we don't have to blame ourselves every time. We just have to choose the right foods in the right size and right portions.
And it gets easier as good choices are made.
Yes, and that's the best news, that as we make good choices, it becomes easier. Not only easier, we get addicted to the good choices instead of getting addicted to the bad choices. And that makes us maintaining our health even more easier.
Now, let me ask you this. I know that there's plenty of times that I've overeaten, especially if I've had a huge breakfast and then I decide to just skip a meal. Now, just to make up the difference, is that a pretty good approach, or should I should say,
well, I think
start
you brought
eating
up
frequently?
Right. I think you brought up a very great point. So there are many myths in dieting, and one of them is that if I eat a large meal now, I will eat less later.
Right.
But research shows two things. Portion distortion, which means we are served a larger portion of meal, and that is the most common reason why we are all gaining weight at this time. So when research shows that if we are served in a large plate, we are going to eat more. Number two, that if we eat a large portion of meal, it does not affect how much we are going to eat in the next meal. And less than 40% people would realize that they actually ate more a bigger portion than they should have. So we have to really be controlling our portions, because eating a large meal at one time does not mean that we'll be eating less the next time.
I see. Okay. And what about that listener who works out all the time and relies on those protein powder and shakes? Is that a good method?
Well, I think that's a great question too. That protein powder and shakes versus real food, what is better for weight loss? So we need to understand how our metabolism works. So when we eat a piece of steak, we have to chew it, then it goes into our stomach where the piece of steak is churned into a mush. Then it goes into our intestines where the enzymes come in and break it down into amino acids, and then it finally gets absorbed. So this work takes away almost 1/3 of the calories from the steak away. And in turn, we are getting less calories by eating real food. But if we drink protein powder and protein shakes, it is already in amino acid form, which is the smallest molecule that can get absorbed. It is a liquid, so you don't have to chew it. We don't have to. The stomach doesn't have to do anything with it, and all the calories hit us instead of boosting our metabolism. So this is what we call is gut workout. The more we eat real food, high fiber food, we are working this big muscular pipe from our mouth to down below, and we are boosting our metabolism by almost 35%.
We can be working out by eating real food, and that's Dr. Grewal, co-author of Fat Me Not, wrote this book with his wife, and the name Fat Me Not is a catchy name, and it applies directly to what we're talking about, a fresh and simpler approach to weight loss. This is the Retirement Journey with Justin Fort, where it's all about the health, wealth, and freedom you need to live life your way all the way. We want you to be healthy. We want you to live your long life. And you can call us live if you have questions at 512-390-1370, or send us questions to ask@fortwm.com. And again, Dr. Grewal, you were talking about eating real food rather than these broken down protein. I'm one that drinks protein shakes. It's just easy sometimes. You're hungry. You just worked out. You don't have time to go stop somewhere, and often we don't pack our lunches or pack our meals, and in the heat of the moment, rather than going to, as much as we love Sonic and other places like that, we don't want to eat there all the time, so we might drink a protein shake now and again. But it sounds to me what you're saying is we don't want to rely on that as a main source of food intake. We should be turning to real food so that we can work out our gut and work out our intestinal system. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. And that's why real food is way more important than eating processed food or easily digestible food. So if we have a choice between eating ice cream versus a smoothie versus a real fruit, the real fruit is a better bet because it is boosting our metabolism while we are eating it, and we are still eating the same fruit.
One thing, Dr. Grewal, that I know that you talk about is eating more frequently, smaller portions. And for me, I love to eat frequently. So this kind of is in line with myself. Now, I have a tendency to eat big and overeat. I think that's from the days when I was wrestling and burning, almost 2,000 calories in 3 or 4 hours or something. But, I don't do that anymore. I pretty much sit in a chair, visit with people at the office there for most of the day, and I'm not burning the calories I used to burn. And yet I want to make sure that I'm not getting these hunger pains that are distracting me from my work. So snacking, what's your take on snacking?
Right. So what happens is that I had patients in my practice who would come to me and they would eat only once a day, but they were not losing any weight. They were gaining weight. And so we looked into the scientific literature to see what's going on there. So what happens when we subject our body to a fasting state, which means we are skipping meals, we are not eating on time that we are supposed to, and not eating frequently enough, which means 5 times a day, every 4 hours while awake. What happens is that our metabolism would drop by almost 50% if we are putting our body through a fasting state, because our body tries to conserve energy at that time, which means if we did not eat breakfast and we did not eat lunch and now we are just eating the dinner, the 1,000 calories that we eat at dinner would hit us like 2,000 calories just because our metabolism is now down by 50%. If we skip breakfast only, and many may think that skipping breakfast is not a big deal, but it is, because grandmother was right. that breakfast is the most important meal of the day.
Thank you. I love that. I'm trying to get my kids to eat breakfast every morning.
Well, make them listen to this show then.
Yes. Well, Dr. Grewal, I've got to go to break, and we're going to come back. We've got some other great things that we're going to be talking about: how to lose weight, keep it off the right way, the scientific way, how to curb those cravings. And we're going to be back with Dr. Grewal here in just a minute. And remember, you can call us live at 512-390-1370. Send us your questions and comments to ask@fortwm.com. Again, this is Justin Fort. The show's Retirement Journey. This is Talk 1370.
For tomorrow.
This is Talk 1370. You're listening to Retirement Journey with Justin Fort, where it's all about the health, wealth, and freedom you need to live life your way, all the way. I'm Justin, and we are talking with Dr. Grewal about how a fresher and simpler approach to weight loss is achievable and scientifically based. We want you to be healthy. We want you to enjoy yourself, and we still, want to enjoy those foods that we really love to eat. But we need to make sure that we do everything in moderation, because really your happiness may depend on your health as well throughout retirement. And so, Dr. Grewal, we were just left the segment where we were talking about how to lose weight, how to keep it off, and what would you say the biggest recommendation you could give, or a couple of recommendations you can give for losing weight and keeping it off?
Right. I think the biggest one, like we discussed just before the break, was eating breakfast. That is so important, because when we are sleeping at night, we are already fasting for about 8 to 10 hours. And then when we skip breakfast, we are fasting for 16 hours, because lunch, by the time we get to lunch, it's already 16 hours and we have not put anything into our body. And that by itself would reduce our metabolism. So to support our metabolism, to boost our metabolism, we should eat something within the first hour of waking up. And that's why it's called a breakfast, and that's what we should do.
And what's good to eat for breakfast?
Well, almost anything, but real food is good, and there are many people who may not like to eat breakfast because they are not used to it as yet.
Right.
But again, it's a habit that can be formed. So you can always start with maybe just with 2 slices of a fruit and eat that, or maybe one yogurt mixed with fruit. We can try that, or cereal, or almost anything which is not processed would be a good thing to do.
Not processed. Okay. Well, you hear so much about metabolism and how the older you get, it starts to slow down. How can someone increase their metabolism?
Well, great question. So how do we increase our metabolism? So number one, we got to eat real food, not protein powders, not protein shakes, not protein bars, but real food, which is more difficult to digest, more it's going to boost our metabolism. Drinking water. Water is a fat-burning requirement of our body. So all reactions that burn fat require water. And if we don't drink enough water, then we are slowing down that reaction. So drinking water also boosts our metabolism. And number 3, we got to eat high-protein diet. High-protein diet means about 40 to 50% of protein in the plate. That boosts our metabolism too. And number 4, that we should exercise and build a lot of muscles. Why? Because when we build muscles, the muscle mass by itself needs energy to get maintained and to be maintained, and that increases our metabolism too.
Now, everywhere I look, I see people drinking diet drinks. That's my in-laws, is they drink like 2-3 liters a day. Are artificial sweeteners better for weight loss?
Well, here's the thing, that real soda or real sugary soda can modify our eating behavior. We have seen that in rats, in experiments done on them, because they behave very similar to human when it comes to food and many other things. So we do a lot of research on them. but rats would increase more when they get real soda. They would show binge eating behavior. So if you're drinking real soda every day, we are going to get food addiction and binge eating behavior. Now, what happens if we drink diet drinks or we use artificial sweeteners? We are trying to fool our brain into thinking that it's getting real sugar, which is not the case.
Right.
But our brain is much smarter than that, and it will catch up. And once it catches up, it will not make us crave sugary drinks anymore. It will switch that craving to junk food. So many times when our patients come in and they got severe craving for junk food, they just want to eat junk food all the time. Most of the time it is because they are drinking diet drinks every day. And so we have to stop that to stop their cravings. So the best thing to do is to drink not more than 8 ounces of a sugary soda once a week or twice a week, which means 8 ounces is one small foam cup. That is better than drinking a artificial sweetener.
And that's Dr. Grewal, co-author of Fat Me Not. We're talking about a fresh and simpler approach to weight loss. And if you're just tuning in, you're listening to The Retirement Journey with Justin Fort, where it's all about the health, wealth, and freedom you need to live life your way, all the way. I'm Justin, and you can call us live at 512-390-1370 or send us your questions and comments to ask@fortwm.com. And again, with us today, Dr. Grewal is giving us some really interesting information, some of which I have just never heard. And I mean, I believe you. I just haven't heard it. And I think it's amazing information. It's great for us all to know how we can better take control of our health. And of course, weight is a big factor. You know, when we look at the statistics related to diabetes, related to chronic illnesses on in retirement. And, the number one health concern or related death is heart disease. I've got some statistics here from the CDC that show that, something north of 75% of folks above age 65 are taking some kind of blood pressure medication. And so, Dr. Grewal, what we put in our mouth is almost the most important thing, would you say, with respect to our long-term health?
Yes, definitely. And that is what is very important, that many times we think exercise is more important. But when it comes to our health, when it comes to weight loss, diet is more important than exercise. If we don't fix our diet and we just exercise, we may not lose much weight. But if we just fix our diet, we would start losing weight, and we can boost it with exercise. So whatever we put in our mouth is the most important thing.
So what is the difference between temporary weight loss and permanent weight loss?
Great question. So there are many diets in the market, and many of them do work. Many of them make us lose a lot of weight. But the question is, can we stick to it? If we cannot stick to a diet, that's a temporary diet. And once we are doing a temporary diet, which means we are losing weight for just 2-3 months, that's not a great diet to be on, because then we are going on yo-yo dieting, which by itself is a dangerous thing, because when we do yo-yo dieting, we lose the weight after doing everything right, and then we gain all the weight back. We feel frustrated, and we don't feel like going on another diet again. Not only that, but if we go through this weight gain, weight loss cycle 4 or 5 times, it can cause complete weight loss dysregulation in the body, making it even harder for us to lose weight. So we should always target that we have to lose weight permanently, which means when we lose weight, we should be able to keep it off. And there are 3 criteria of choosing a diet to make it happen. Number 1, the diet has to be easy to do, because if a diet is not easy to do, we cannot sustain it. When we cannot sustain a diet, we are going to go back to square one. Number 2, it should allow real food, our own food, because if your diet does not allow your own food, which we are used to, we cannot sustain it again. And it's not a sustainable diet, it's a temporary diet or temporary weight loss. And number 3, any diet plan that we go for should change our eating behavior. It should improve our eating behavior. If it does not improve our eating behavior, once we stop that diet, we are again back to square one. So these 3 criteria should always be looked for whenever choosing a diet for permanent weight loss.
Now, you mentioned that weight loss industry is designed to make us fail in our diets. Why do you say that?
Well, here's the thing. The weight loss industry is a $60 billion industry, and it makes a lot of money and dashes a lot of hopes for people to lose weight and keep it off. But how do they sell more and more weight loss products to people if they are targeting permanent weight loss? Many a times, weight loss industry does not even bring the latest research to the market, and most of the diets are based on the research done in 1950s and 1960s. So I believe this whole weight loss industry is based on failure. It wants people to fail so they can sell them another product.
Makes sense.
Yeah, why do you want to lose your customer base if you cure them all, right?
Right, and that's not ethical. So whenever somebody creates a diet, and that's when we created our Slim Plate system, we wanted to make sure that people actually lose weight and keep it off, because that is what we need to target.
Yeah, and you just mentioned Slim Plate System. You have a website, slimplatesystem.com. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, Slim Plate System, it's a funny story that we actually, because my wife's a doctor, I'm a doctor, and we have a weight loss center that we run, which is very successful. We decided to create a system that people don't have to understand the basics of nutrition. They can just use a system and lose weight. So Slim Plate System was born like that. It's a 4-step portion control system in which people go from 4 different portion controls over a period of 4 months. It also has video lectures with it, and it also improves the habits, eating habits. It makes sure that people are able to build their diet around their own food, and that it's an easy-to-do diet, which makes them eat 5 times a day, which is breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. So this is what is Slim Plate System. And we wrote the book after we designed the Slim Plate System, so that because many a time we would have questions, why do I need to do this in Slim Plate System? And we wanted everybody to understand that why it is based on scientific methods, scientific information, and that's when we wrote the book to help people understand why we do what we do.
And that's Dr. Grewal, co-author of Fat Me Not book, Weight Loss Diet of the Future. We're talking about a fresh and simpler approach to weight loss. And if you're just tuning in, this is the Retirement Journey with Justin Fort, where it's all about the health, wealth, and freedom you need to live life your way, all the way. I'm Justin, and remember, you can give us a call. We are live. 512-390-1370 is the number here, or you can send us a question or comment to ask@fortwm.com. So if you're struggling with weight, if you're struggling with health, if you're on a lot of meds and you'd like to correct that, maybe, I'm not a doctor, but we have a doctor on right now, Dr. Grewal. He can answer your questions and help you understand the importance of eating right, proper diet, and how that can really improve your overall health. And that's what matters here at the Retirement Journey. We want to make sure that those of you out there that are listening have the information that you need to have the freedom and the independence and the health to live your retirement according to your dreams. We're going to go to a break real quick here, and we will be back with Dr. Grewal. We're going to talk a little bit more about this book, find out how we can get a hold of the copy, the Slim Plate System, and how this can really improve your lives. So we'll be back. You can call us again at 512-390-1370. This is Justin Fort. The show is Retirement Journey, and this is Talk 1370. Talk 1370. You're listening to Retirement Journey with Justin Fort. You can call us at 512-390-1370 or send us your questions and comments to ask@fortwm.com. Later in the program today, we're going to be talking briefly about this study that came out, the state of aging and health in America. According to this is a report from the CDC. It's kind of like a report card, if you will. And there's 15 factoids here that are going to be really interesting for you to hear and understand, and a couple of other things as we kind of conclude here with Dr. Grewal. But Dr. Grewal, before we went to break, we were going to talk about how we can get a hold of your book. We were going to talk a little bit more about some of your final thoughts. But we do have a caller. We wanted to have Maryland from Austin come on the show and ask you a question. So, hi, Maryland.
Yeah.
How are you doing? Welcome.
I'm doing well, thank you. Should I just go ahead and ask it now?
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay, I'm curious if you have prescriptions that you take, like for blood pressure, and over-the-counter vitamins. How does that fit into a type of diet that your book perhaps suggests?
I think Marilyn brought up a great question. Then how do medicines affect our weight gain or weight loss and our dieting? So there are many medicines that can cause weight gain. For example, many depression medicines can cause weight gain. In fact, insulin at times can cause weight gain too. So we have to be very careful about medicines and always check with your doctor if your medicine may be causing your weight gain, and if there is an alternative medicine that can be given to you which does not have the side effect of weight gain. In the question of vitamins, many times taking vitamins is a good thing, because if we are nutritionally deficient in any kind of vitamin, we are going to crave more food because our brain's trying to look for those vitamins. And just because anyone is obese or overweight does not mean that they are not nutritionally deficient. Vitamin D deficiency is very common in obese patients. So we have to make sure that taking a vitamin supplement is always a good thing. It can also reduce your cravings for bad food.
Oh dear. Okay, well, I'm very interested in this. I've tried a lot of things to lose weight, and your book sounds very interesting to me.
Right. Yeah, I would encourage you to go through the book and see the stories of weight gain and weight loss, which we have from real patients who actually went through the whole system of losing weight. And also it will give you insight into what little things that we do which can affect our dieting and weight loss.
And is it available in Austin?
Yes, it's available on Amazon, and it's also available on barnesandnobles.com, and you can also get it on Kindle also.
Okay, it's Fat Mean Not, N-O-T, right?
Right, it's Fat Me Not, Weight Loss Diet of the Future.
Okay, well, I'm taking the vitamin D and calcium, and that's what I was told to take by my doctor, and I take blood pressure medicine. But I've got that under control, more or less.
Right, and I'm glad you brought blood pressure, because when we have weight gain, our chances of developing high blood pressure almost doubles. Our chances of getting diabetes almost doubles. Our chances of getting heart attack increase by 60%. So losing weight would actually significantly reduce the risk of diabetes. It also would improve the blood pressure. Many times we had a patient who lost almost 75 pounds after weight loss efforts. We were able to take him off his cholesterol medicine. We were able to take him off his high blood pressure medicine, and we were even able to cut down his insulin to bare minimum.
Oh, that sounds
so
nice.
Losing weight would cure many different things.
Well, I'm trying to do that. And I don't eat near as much as what I used to do. I eat healthier than I used to do, and I'm still gaining weight, and that bothers me a lot.
Right. I think yeah, you should talk to your doctor. Make sure that none of the medicine is causing weight gain as a side effect. Okay. You should make sure they are doing appropriate testing, especially testing for thyroid diseases, to make sure that hormone level is good. And I think when you go through the books, you will also get more ideas on what could be going wrong.
Well, I appreciate it so very much.
Marilyn, thank you so much for giving us a call, and we wish you the best of luck. And remember, you can get a copy of this book, Fat Me Not, that's N-O-T, Amazon and Barnes & Nobles, right?
Yes, that's correct.
We wish you the best of luck, Marilyn.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
You. Well, Dr. Grewal, we really appreciate you being on today, and really insightful information. I'm going to be looking into my diet and seeing what I can do to make some of the changes that you're recommending. I think that we can all become healthier always, some more than others. I'm probably on that camp. So we appreciate you being on the show. We'd love to have you back another time.
Yes.
If that would be something you'd like to do. We'd love to have you back.
I'd love to be back on the show.
Thank you, Dr. Grewal. Any parting thoughts or parting advice that you'd like to give before we let you go?
Well, I think everyone should try to lose weight. Losing weight has a lot of benefits. Even if you lose 10% of your body weight, you reduce your diabetes risk by almost half. And we don't have to wait for starting to exercise. Just start modifying your diet slowly, and you within 2-3 months you would realize you are suddenly eating much more healthier than you did before.
Great. And thank you so much, Dr. Grewal. That was Dr. Grewal, co-author of Fat Me Not. You can get a hold of his book at Amazon, also Barnes & Nobles. You can visit fatmenot.com. That has hyphens in between, so just be careful if you're looking there. Or also, you can find his Slim Plate System program at slimplatesystem.com. And that we want to make sure that you have access to a fresh and simpler approach to weight loss, not those 1960s fads that are just outdated, scientifically speaking. And again, this is the Retirement Journey with Justin Fort, where it's all about the health, wealth, and freedom you need to live life your way all the way. We are live. You can call us at 512-390-1370 or send us questions and comments to ask@fortwm.com. If you need help getting a hold of that book, just send us an email or give us a call. You can also call us at our office at 512-433-6492. And remember, during the week, we do financial planning, retirement planning, and legacy planning. We'd love to visit with you, look at your financial situation, but also talk about health and the things that matter to you. So feel free to schedule an appointment, come and sit down with me. We do have cookies, so just be careful. So anyways, Dr. Grewal, thanks so much for being on today.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
We'll talk to you in the future. All right.
Have a good weekend.
And now we're going to switch to our news and views segment. Just wanted to talk about this article that I found. It's called "The State of Aging and Health in America 2013." This is by the CDC. It's the 6th volume of a series that presents a snapshot of the health and aging landscape of the United States and other regions of the world. This series presents the most current information and statistics, often specifically commissioned for the report on the health of older individuals and older adults. And this particular study focuses on the health of adults aged 65 years or older in the United States. And what's interesting is it's kind of like a report card, and actually they say it's the National Report Card on healthy aging. And some statistics, just want to read through. There's 15 indicators they talk about that they use to kind of determine or gauge the health of our seniors over 65. Number one is physically unhealthy days. It's the number of days that people felt bad or didn't feel well in the last month, and the average is 5.4 days. That was the reported statistic. This data actually comes from 2010, even though the report's printed 2013. So you know how it is with some of these studies. Number two, frequent mental distress. They said that about 6.9% of respondents said that this was the case for them. And number three, oral health, tooth retention. They say that if you've retained the majority of your teeth and you haven't lost more than 5 teeth, then you wouldn't tell them that you had an issue with oral health. But something like 59.6% of respondents said that they have issues with that. Number four, disability. 37.9% of respondents said that they have some form of disability. And it's based on an affirmative response to either the following two questions. Are you limited in any way in any activity because of physical, mental, or emotional problems? Or do you have any health problems that requires you to use special equipment such as cane, wheelchair, special bed, or special telephone? And by the way, the reason why we're talking about this on the show is because this stuff matters to you, and it matters to how you plan from a financial perspective. I'm a financial planner, but you know what? Your health matters. If I know that, you tell me that your health isn't so great and you don't care about changing it and whatnot, then fine. We're more than happy to still work with you on a financial side, but we need to make make sure that your assets are positioned the right way accordingly, because we need to be concerned about the higher probabilities of some of these chronic illnesses and issues that you might have in retirement. Of course, healthy eating, healthy exercise, all of that's going to help with those things. I've got about what do I have? I've gone through about 4 of these. There's 15. There's 11 more. I'm going to get to these after we come back from this break. Again, this is a study from the CDC, printed 2013. You can look it up. Again, this is Justin Fort, shows Retirement Journey. Talk 1370. We'll see you when we get back. Talk 1370. You're listening to Retirement Journey with Justin Fort. We're talking about your health today. We're talking about weight loss, fresh and simpler approach. We're talking about statistics in the United States. Report the state of aging and health in America, 2013. This is produced related to those aged 65 and older in the United States. And this study was supported by the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC. And we stopped with number 4, disability. Number 5, no leisure time physical activity in the past month. 31.4% of respondents said this was the case for them. Eating fruits and vegetables daily, that means more than 2 fruits, and I believe it means a serving, so grape doesn't count. And eating more than 3 vegetables daily, 41.8% respondents said they do eat the fruits. 29.6% they said that they do eat the vegetables, so we need to probably improve that. Obesity, 24.3% of respondents claim that this was true for them. So they're battling with obesity. And of course, that's what our show topic was on today, healthy eating. So that's something you need to look into. Mm-hmm. Visit with your financial or your medical professional about that, your doctor. Current smoking, 8.3%. These are folks above age 65. Medication for high blood pressure, 94%.
Wow.
94%. So you're not alone if you're taking a medication for high blood pressure. Number 10, flu vaccine in the past year, only 66.9%. It's important. I'm not a doctor, but talk to your doctor about it. Mm-hmm. The more people that have these flu vaccines, the better. You're more susceptible when you're older, and or your health is not as strong, your immune system. Mm-hmm. Number 11, ever had pneumonia vaccine? Only 68.1% said that that's the case for them. Saw a commercial for it yesterday, actually. Looks like something that I need to look into as well. Number 12, mammogram within the past 2 years, 82.9%. So that's a decently high number.
Yes.
Important, of course, to get that checked out. It looks like every 2 years. Mm-hmm. Number 13, colorectal cancer screening, 73.1%. I know that's really important. My father had that done, and it was important he did because they caught something, he got treated, and he moved past it. Good. Very important to get these checkups. Number 14, up to date on selective preventive services. I think this is overall preventive services. Men said, and women, they're the same actually. 48.5% of men and women said that they are up to date on all of their select preventive services. Well, that's below half. That's not good enough. We need to increase those numbers, and that's going to put us in a better position as far as the medical health industry goes. The cost for care, Medicare, all those things is very important to our country. Number 15, falls with injury within the past year. 31.7% of respondents said that was true for them. So it's important to think about health. It's important to make sure that you're doing the things that you can. And, there's little secrets here that you can pick up on. Just like in the financial world, we've got some interesting things that you probably don't know about that are just simply concealed from you. We want you to come into the office, learn about what you can do from a financial perspective to improve yourself, just like you can look into things that you can do for yourself to improve your health situation for the rest of your life and have an amazing retirement. And we're going to be having a couple of seminars coming up on Social Security, of course. Feel free to get in touch with us at the office. Jennifer, they have a number they can call.
Yeah, actually, to register, call 1-800-769-1614. Our next one is at Maggiano's at the Domain, August the 11th and 13th.
Awesome. Next week, we're going to be talking about conventional wisdom that, after a recent recession, economic life and asset markets will return to normal. That's what most people think. But what's normal? The normal of the late 20th century existed due to unique historical circumstances that will not be repeated. The new normal, quote unquote, will be one of slower growth, higher inflation, and lackluster returns. The main reasons that developed world is on the downstroke of three great historical cycles are debt, demographics, and democratization. Author Philip Romero will be here next week. He'll trace this trajectory and recommend surprising and counterintuitive investments that until recently were not published by Wall Street, but can help those planning for the day they retire to protect their nest egg in the rougher seas ahead. You're going to want to hear that. We'll be back next week with Philip Romero talking about that. 12:30, same time, same channel here on 1370. We want to thank Dr. Grewal for coming on, talking about his book. We want to thank Maryland for calling in. We wish you the best of luck with your health. And we wish all of you out there the best of luck with health and freedom and retirement. And we will see you next week, right here, same time, same channel. And again, this is Justin Fort, Retirement Journey, Talk 1370.
So winner, baby, that's no lie. That's no lie.